Hello, hello, hello! How's it going, guys? How's it going? It's your Cyber Hacker over here. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're all doing well. It is a new week, and we are just relaxing today. We got a couple, well, I say couple. I have one tier list planned, but I'm willing to take suggestions. But yeah, we're just vibing today. No game, no story, no playthrough, no nothing. We're just gonna be yapping. There's a lot of stuff happening between this week and next week. We got the Switch release this week, or the Switch 2 release. And then on the weekend, we got a bunch of... We've got Summer Games Fest starting. So I'm curious to see if we get anything between then and now. Or now and then. But how are y'all doing? Hope you're all doing well. I wasn't sure. I did say I wanted to do tier lists. And for those that aren't familiar, the plan for this week is today we're just vibing. I got a tier list planned, which is the Halo games tier list that I wanted to do after I beat the Master Chief Collection. I said I wanted to give my rating after I had like finally settled on playing basically from Reach to 4. Reach, Combat Evolved, 2, 3, 3 ODST, and 4. So they're the ones that I'm going to be properly rating. Yo, Prophet, how's it going? Signature pipe. Nice. But yeah, we're just going to be chilling today. We're not going to be doing... No, like I said, no game. I was debating on like, oh, what if I snuck in some Splitgate 2? But at the same time, I'm like... I might try that game on my own first to see if I'd be willing to play it on stream, because it doesn't look like it's popping off. But I really liked Splitgate 1 when it came out, so we'll see. I won't be today anyway. If anything, that'll be next week. Between this week and next week, I'm just kind of waiting with bated breath to see what kind of game news we get. But other than that, yeah. How are y'all doing? I'm just trying to think. There was something I saw today that I want to catch because with the Switch 2 coming out, naturally people are talking about the upgrades that are going to be coming out for like the games and stuff like that as well. And I saw footage of the upscaled Scarlet and Violet stuff. I want to show that off. And I kind of want to just talk about it first. I was going to do the tier list first, but then I saw this and I'm kind of just like... Huh. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just wondering because when you're going to react to Helsing. That is Friday. That is Friday. Because that is going to be like a whole stream in and of itself. Because every episode... Like, hang on. Like, there's a whole playlist for it. Helsing Abridged. I'm just taking today to kind of vibe. Not much gaming this week, aside that I'll be playing Master Duel on Wednesday because I'll be doing some ranked on that front. But yeah, Helsing Ultimate Abridged is getting its own dedicated stream on Friday, pretty much. We're not going to be doing anything except that because yeah, 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 16. Like, hang on, like if I total up to like 40, like an hour 10. Hour 25 or an hour 20, no, an hour 25. Yeah, like the episodes themselves are kind of like half an hour long, so yeah, it's gonna be its whole thing. The whole series is not even more than an hour and a half. Oh well, then we'll figure something out then after that. If we need to kill time with something else, we will. But my streams this week are going to be relatively shorter in comparison to every stream we've been doing because Pokemon took up a lot of time. And I'd go like 3 to 3+ hours. That's not usually the norm. It only is really the case for story-based games. If we need to figure out something else to do after we watch Helsing, then we'll do something else. If not, I might just call it there. Odds are I'll be doing a bit of yapping anyway. I'll try not to pause much when I'm reacting to it. But yeah, that's gonna be at least an hour and a half, like minimum, I'd say. And even then, that doesn't even account for like me doing my usual preamble as well at the start of streams, like I normally do. So, and going over on Fridays, I normally go over what's happening next week if I have a plan. So either way, that's gonna be its own dedicated stream. So don't need to worry about that. That is coming. I'm not neglecting it. At least it felt like an hour and a half when I watched it. Yeah, that sounds about right, just looking at the video times. Because the first 3 episodes are in the one, and that's like 40-something minutes. So yeah. Dude, even if you're a chronic pausator, you would not want to pause a single second. Yeah, that's not, yeah, a chronic pauser, I'm assuming. Yeah, I feel like because it's my first time reacting to stuff, I feel like I'll do my best to only pause when I'm like processing a joke or something like that. I think those will be like the only moments, but we'll see. I'm not a big pauser when it comes to reactions because unless it's like about a topic I'm like really passionate about, and then I'll give my own opinions. This is more of a different type of thing. It's going to be more of a watch along than me giving my own feedback because it's not really for that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to watching that for the first time. So yes, don't worry, that is coming. That is its own thing on Friday, and if we need to figure something out to do after we watch all of that, then we will. If not, I'll just call the stream there, and then we'll go into next week. So yeah, the thing with housing a bridge is that jokes come out so fast that pausing will just ruin the punchline of another joke. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I probably won't. Well, I probably won't. It'll probably, if anything, I'll just prepare food. I'll just get snacks ready so I can just kind of watch. But we'll see anyway. Right. Okay, what was I gonna do? Yeah, I want to show off this footage because it makes me simultaneously upset, but also... hang on. Can't I, like... Yeah, okay. Right. It's not... Actually, hang on. It's not on the right thing. Hang on. Gotta swap this over. Because this is... Now, it might come out properly on the stream. But I do want to show this off since it was literally just posted not too long ago. So, yeah. This is the supposed updated 60 FPS footage running, like, of Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet running on the Switch 2. There might be a bit more artifacting. Amazing what 60 frames will do to a game. The reason this makes me simultaneously upset is that the game looks good. The game, where's the improvement? Oh, let's see if I can get a comparison. Let's see, hang on, let me back up here so I can get a comparison up. I'm pretty sure it ran sub 30 on the actual Switch. That's for the Switch 2 that's coming out that allows for docked 40k 60 FPS. 40k? Yeesh. 4k 60 FPS gaming. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh, I'll see if there's a comparison video actually. Switch 1 and 2 comparison. Someone's bound to have made a comparison already. We're this close, there's no way no one has like... There's no way no one has uploaded something. No, that's ZA. We already seen the ZA comparisons. Okay, right. It's only ZA comparisons that are coming out. Frame rate. Frame rate. How do we got? Frame rate test. I'm pretty sure, right, this is like a minute long. I wonder if it actually kind of does it justice. Okay, that's awful. Hang on. Jesus. Okay, yeah. Right, this is a good comparison because this was launch. I never cared about 60 FPS. I play games at a slideshow level of frame rate and I still had fun. I don't mind 30 FPS, which is what the Switch 1 was meant to run base at, but it's so much worse than just 30 FPS. 30 FPS does not bother me one bit. It's the... I'll show it here now in a sec. Also, it's not worth the Switch no matter what you say, no matter anyone says it ain't worth it. At this point, it'll be cheaper to make a bootleg console from scratch. I'm genuinely still considering it, because if... We're already... It looks like the quote-unquote physical version is €70, and I'm already paying that much for my games anyway. The console itself, like, I'm only going to get it to play Pokemon mainly. And if... Like I've been saying, if Scarlet and Violet turns out to be be decent on with the update, I'll consider getting it. I'll still be its biggest fucking hater for its release, but I'll still not, like, I'll still give it a go, like, but we'll see. Hang on. Yeah, right, so this is the release. Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 1. This is what it looks like. So looks-wise, it's fine. I can get over it. But you see that. You see all that hitching. The frame rate itself is like barely going below 30. It's not even at a stable 30. This is probably like giving it a good like presentation as well. But yeah. Literally cannot tell the difference. I don't know if it's coming across on stream because I do try to stream at 60 FPS. And if that's not the case, I'm going to be so pissed because I thought I've been streaming at 60 FPS the entire year at this stage. Yeah, like see that 0. It went to 20 FPS there. Yeah, it's actually not too bad there. But like it was less the frame rate I had an issue with and more just the buggy glitchy mess that it came out in. So like if we go to day 1, like it was actually hang on, let's see what we can get. Day 1. Oh, Scarlet and Violet is a free upgrade as well. Okay, that makes it a little bit more worth it then. They're not releasing like a Switch 2 version of the game. It's just a free upgrade. Yeah, it'd want to be free after that. Like glitching showcase. Because there was a whole videos on it. Right, 2 years ago. That's 2 years ago. It's a shorts. Yeah. And it's like, the thing about these bugs and glitches is that it wasn't a case of like, oh, these were only like a few people were experiencing this. No, this was like worldwide. People were running into bugs and glitches on a consistently bad basis. Like it was awful. If you're gonna get a new console, play one game. Don't buy a new console. Wait for the pirates to do their thing. I'm not a fan of that. Literally, I cannot tell the difference. No. I mean, as a person, literally not tell frame rate above 30. I do not have that level of shutter speed in my brain. None of these are important. People hated Cyberpunk because of its bugginess, but I thought it was charming. Well, to be honest, like, kind of in the same vein of why I like Cyberpunk today, and it's probably one of my favorite games of all time. Like, the game had a lot of charm behind it. A game had a lot of, like, good stuff behind it. Like, people like the characters, people like the story. It's just that the bugs were killing it for everyone. But I included myself. I bought it on PS4. I bought it on PS4 day 1. And you'd think that would just turn me off Cyberpunk forever. But then I eventually got my PC and played it again. And once, like, a lot of the bugs were fixed. And it was a seamless game. I loved it so much. I just love it so much. But yeah, here's like a showcase of, like, all of the bugs and glitches that were happening. Like, and these are more the funnier things. Like, this isn't really a glitch. This is just kind of like the NPCs doing their thing. That's just funny. Like, some of these are more like, this is why, like, funny bugs and glitches, like, yeah, looking back at these are, like, funny ones. The reason why I take bugs so seriously, dude, seriously, why is the bug so important? No one has ever played a Bethesda game. Bugs are funny most of the time. Look at that. None of the bugs I've heard of of Scarlet and Violet were breaking the kind of shit that a Bethesda player would call a feature. Here's the thing. We're already in a dangerous precedent in AAA gaming where people are, companies are shoveling out subpar products that barely function and charging a fucking premium for it. And for Pokemon, who is the most profitable franchise in the entire fucking universe, it's not acceptable. Especially when people got upset about, like, Sword and Shield. And I really like those games. They weren't buggy at all. Yeah, they had a bit of, like, the graphics wise, they weren't great, but I wasn't playing a Switch game for graphics. It was less the bug over time. If you run into a couple of bugs over a long playthrough, yeah, they're gonna be funny, you'll brush them off, you'll keep playing. But if you're getting bugs on a consistent basis and you're still getting them as you go along a playthrough, they're gonna stop being funny, especially if they're hindering your playthrough. If you're hindering you entirely. This is a bit loud. Turn it down a little bit. I don't even know what that was. That didn't even look like a bug. Darwinism says they will die trying to do an ineffective strategy. Thing is, the quote-unquote dangerous precedent isn't that dangerous. It's pretty fucking dangerous. Have you... Like, there's no... I don't know how I put it. But yeah, like, these are more like the funnier ones. But there are... I'm pretty sure there was, like, a game-breaking glitch at one point. But yeah, it's kind of... It's unacceptable. It's more unacceptable... Oh, whoops. Wrong thing. It's more unacceptable coming from a franchise that is literally as big as Pokemon. And then, like, the frame rate is... Yeah, you could argue the frame rate is not a big deal. But think of it this way. Think of it this way. Pokemon Legends Arceus came out the exact same year as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And that game ran fine. 30 FPS, there was very little hitching, there was no bugs that I've ever encountered in that game. And it worked perfectly fine, and it was a really good game. Awesome. That's all I wanted. Scarlet and Violet came out. The frame rate was hitting sub 15, which if you played a sub 15 FPS game, it is practically unplayable. Like, good luck. Even if you're going... If you can be the most optimistic person in the world, you're not playing a game that's below 15 frames per second. You're just not. The bugs were... Yeah, some of them were funny, but they were plentiful, and some of them... I'm gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure there was, like, a game-breaking glitch at one point. Pokemon... I'm gonna look it up just to be sure. I don't want to be talking on my arse. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Game-breaking bugs. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it experienced, like, constant crashing as well. So, funnily enough, very Cyberpunk-esque. If you played it on PS4. Yeah, it was, like, constantly crashing. And even then, that hasn't been fixed. Because there is a moment on an Alpharad stream, or Alpharad video, where him and Pokemon Challenges were doing a Nuzlocke together. Or a Soul Link Nuzlocke together. And they couldn't evolve Beartic, or Cubchoo into Beartic, because once they evolved it, it crashed the game. And the only way to fix it was to somehow avoid it going into the Pokédex. Hang on, I want to see if I can find that. I need to see if I can find that. Because that's recent. That's like at least last year. Alpha... Rad... Cubchoo... glitch. I'll see if I can find it. I can't remember the video. No, that's Pokemon Red. Peachel. Nuzlocke. So, Link. Yes, okay, it was a year ago. Let me try and find the moment where it started happening. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna watch this together. Oh, we're gonna watch this together and show that, yeah, it's the bugs, the funny ones we watched aren't as bad. But ones like this, yeah, not so good. Hang on, I gotta find where it starts. Let me read your chat here. Yo, man, how's it going? We're just chilling today. Hang on, I'm after missing a couple. Oh, hydrate. I gotta read a couple of chats. Why do you think that box is investing so heavily into indie games and dropping all its exclusives everywhere, even in places where the sun don't shine? Well, that's the thing. I'm gonna get more into indie games at this rate. I was already playing Expedition 33. I still gotta go back to that. The weather's kind of cooled down a bit, so now my PC shouldn't fucking crash and burn. From the sheer... From, like, the game breathing on it. Oh, am I on the wrong fucking... I am, whoops, hang on. I forgot I've, like, 4 instances of, like, Firefox opened because I have, like, my Twitter opened on one. And then I have, like, the tier list and the other on that one as well. Okay, right. Again, I play with literally seconds per frame. Did I play Minecraft and anything but Monster Rig PC? I'm assuming that's Monster Rig. I doubt there's anything you can describe that I wouldn't tolerate. I suppose then it comes down to, yeah, what you can tolerate in terms of, like, performance. I'm feeling dried out. Drink some water, please. Drink something. I grew up with a bunch of swindlers, snake oil salesmen, and around manipulative bastards. I can tell you AAA market will not last if it keeps going if it goes the way it does. Absolutely, I agree entirely. Right, we're gonna watch this, and for those that are coming into the chat, don't worry, got myself some iced tea left. Nice. So, man, just to give some context, they released footage of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet update running at 60 FPS, and just for the sake of context, I will show said footage right now. Now, like I said, it's on Twitter. It could be compressed to shit. I don't know how it's gonna function. The triple market dies and the indie market will rise. You cannot destroy an entire ecosystem. You can cripple the top predators. Honestly, that's what needs to happen, I think. Or AAA developers start actually putting out functionable games. That don't break day one and then have to be patched later. Like, it's nuts. That's why when the meteor hit the earth, it only killed the dinosaurs. No, like, that's a drastic one. But yeah, for the sake of context, here's the footage that just came out of Scarlet and Violet running at 60 FPS on the Switch 2. I muted the game, the footage, that's my bad. And it looks good. Look at that, look at all the Pokemon. There's no pop-in, there's no glitching, you can't see any artifacting on the buildings, which was a big thing for people that actually like cared about that. For me, I just needed it to run good, and it didn't run good on the Switch. The game looked fun, but it did not run good. Especially because this still can't tell the difference. What you just said as well, like you can tolerate anything. The second one can make it happen because the American economy as whole. We have investors that dividends take a priority over human rights. Yeah, that's a whole other thing in its own right. But just for the sake of context, the reason the topic is Scarlet and Violet is because it led into the conversation of how the game ran and how buggy and glitchy it was at release. So, I found an example of, yes, some of the bugs might be funny, but here's a more detrimental one. This is going to be another Watch Dogs 2 situation, except Watch Dogs 1, situation, except Watch Dogs 1 was actually a good game. I've not played it. I've played Watch Dogs 2 and I enjoyed it, though. People have less money to spend nowadays while games costs go up. The high cost of games completely against each other and more limited resource. Exactly, yeah. Can you believe people hated Watch Dogs 1 because it wasn't graphically intensive as a demo? That's on Ubisoft for trying to push that, to be fair. And that was kind of like the start of Ubisoft trying to lie to get their way. But yeah, I think from what I remember, a lot of people that actually played Watch Dogs 1 actually did enjoy it. Watch Dogs 1 was about the Internet of Things and how terrifying it'd be to have corporations take control of all your information. Yeah, I played 2 though. 2 was good. Right, hopefully this actually does lend credence to my argument here.
YAPPING, no, God no. But
so basically, to give some final bit of context, Alpharad and Peachal were doing a Nuzlocke. They ran into a bug where if they evolved Cubchoo, it crashed the game. It just crashed the game.
Because I had to do the slightest amount of mental math.
So we're halfway in. I just want to show this off. Make it back.
YAPPING, no, God no. But because I had to do the slightest amount of mental math to escape the clutches of Nimona. But after evolving my Cubchoo, before we could even start heading towards the next gym, my game had other plans.
My Switch. Wait one second. My game just crashed.
Let's hope it saved.
I'm gonna assume it didn't. I think I had to do it all over again. Yeah, well, you do that. I'm gonna redo all of this.
No game files were messed with. It was a base-ass game of Scarlet and Violet.
Cubchoo when you're playing online. Worst thing I've ever done. I want to learn.
It's a year after the game's release.
No way. No way.
The game is crashing on a Pokemon evolution.
There is a glitch in the game that you cannot evolve Cubchoo. I'm convinced. I'm gonna try something new here. I'm gonna
this is bad.
Again. I'm just gonna not learn Icicle Crash.
I would just box Cubchoo, bro.
This is like a situation where I'd like to apologize for, but
to preface, he's had to do the Nimona fight 3 times by now. The hilarious part is the game was actually pretty good. People were pissed off because the shadows didn't look as good as one run on an Xbox 360. Yeah, how could the original demo run on a console? And they say Ubisoft has gone lazy. Nintendo isn't even lifting a finger to innovate anymore. At least with the Wii U, they were trying to innovate on the Wii. But the thing is, though, like, the Switch is so popular, it comes down to the fact of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why don't we just improve upon it? So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that way.
What could I have done different?
You should have just saved, bro. Why didn't you just save?
Most AAA
Backing
just
out,
repeats the
backing
same
out.
formula.
Saying
Exactly.
no, saying no. Now try to evolve it. I'm scared. That shit's cursed.
The thing with AAAs is that, like, because they have so much to lose and they've been inflating the budgets in all these games year and year and year after year, they have no choice but to try and follow the same formula now. Because if they branch out, they fear the slightest drop in profits. That fear of that slight number dropping cripples them into doing anything, or cripples them into, like, the fear of, like, just not doing anything, like, creative, if that makes sense. They don't do anything creative, they don't try to innovate, they don't do nothing like that. Because of the fact, if they try to do something new, they think they will lose profits. And you know what? They might, but they can't stand their bottom line getting affected in any way, shape, or form. So, unfortunately, that's just kind of the world we live in when it comes to AAA developers.
Wait,
or
why do I have a
publishers
0 rate
specifically.
on my map? What's
Wii was popular,
wrong
but they
with
still
this
tried to change
game?
it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna
exactly.
try and evolve him just to see what happens here. All right,
took
we
the
put him in
investor
the
money,
Pokédex for the
including
very
certain
first
things.
time.
Would you like to learn Icicle Crash? No thanks.
I can't evolve him.
It's still crashing.
I can't evolve him. Will you evolve him and then just send him back?
This is damn near game breaking. This is pretty much, this is, you just, now, to be fair, it just means you can't use Cubchoo in this instance. So you could just box the Pokemon, move on with your life. But it's bad. It's very bad. This is a year after release. I'm pretty sure the DLCs are out by this point, and it's not fixed. Like, this is why I have a problem with Scarlet and Violet, because thankfully they're not asking for extra money for the Switch 2 upgrade. If they were asking for money, you could bet your ass I'd be shitting on that game even more. But yeah, no, this whole situation is fucked. They're not afraid because investors might sell stock. They're afraid because the investors could sue them for sabotaging their dividends. It's not even the evolution itself, but after learning the move afterwards. Nope, because he didn't learn Icicle Crash, and it still crashed again.
I hope it doesn't crash. Oh, I don't think I got this far.
Huge. Okay, it worked. It worked. I'm saving.
What a game, man.
Okay.
Maybe it was that... Wait. It crashed.
Game crashed.
Okay, I have him.
Trading it to John, evolving it, then trading it back, still crashed the game.
No, I do have him.
Okay.
Oh, he's not in my Pokédex. What
Yep.
the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? This is just wrong.
Look, my mouse isn't showing. Fuck. There is a Larvitar where Cubchoo should be, so it wasn't the prompt. What seems to be affecting it was Beartic and Cubchoo being registered in the Pokédex. Is what was seemingly causing that crash, which is fucked, by the way, if you're trying to catch or like fill the Pokédex in this game. Like, oh my god, Scarlet and
Wait,
Violet,
why
dude.
is that?
And it still crashed the game.
Bro, your shit is fucked.
Pokemon.
It crashed.
He's two different Pokemon now. So I guess as long as I just don't open the Pokédex, we should be fine.
You should be okay.
It seems like the game is now permanently broken, and I'm just gonna have to play around that one. So
Yep,
let's...
he can't open the Pokédex now or else his game crashes. Scarlet and Violet is so shit, dude. The thing is, like, I can deal with a visual upgrade, but if that visual upgrade comes with the cost of glitches like this still being in the game, oh, you can fuck right off. You can fuck right off. I'm not kidding. In America, if you fuck over your investors, you would get 100 times worse of a punishment than if you simply just broke every human rights. But that's the problem. Capitalism at its finest. Not going to get into a whole, like, capitalism argument, but it's like, if you don't do anything new, your fans are mad. If you do something new, your investors are mad. So what the fuck do? You follow the same thing over and over and over again. Because that's what works, and that's what fans can like take that, and investors like that as well. Because people will still buy it. And if it goes back to the old adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah. Oh, I keep going to the wrong Effing slide. But yeah, just to kind of show like why I don't like Scarlet and Violet some more of that Scarlet and Violet ranting that I constantly do. But it's like one of those games, it really is, Scarlet and Violet doesn't just need a visual update or a frame rate update. It needs a overall gameplay fix. For stuff like that glitch, it is unacceptable, especially for a hugely profitable company like Pokemon. And we just finished playing Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. No glitches, no nothing, no issues, no frame rate drops, nothing. The moment they transitioned to Switch is when shit started going wrong. And even then, I wouldn't even say that because I had fun with Arceus and I had fun with Sword and Shield. It's only Scarlet and Violet that have had these issues. And it's like, how and why did this happen? That's what I want to know. Yo, Demon Lord Travis, how's it going? I see you. Let me read some chat. I think I need to make chat bigger. BDSP. Oh, you know what? I actually completely forgot about BDSP. BDSP is the worst remakes known to man for Pokemon. Because they implemented some platinum stuff, but not all of the platinum stuff, and then it just breaks the game entirely. So yeah, they aren't remakes, they're remasters. Either way, they're not good. They're not good. They're the worst thing. That's a bit of a statement. They're not good. I was gonna say they're the worst thing Game Freak, or actually, yeah, they weren't even Game Freak. It was like, it was offsourced. Either way, they're still bad. I played those games. My favorite Pokemon game was Y based. I finished X there recently before I went through Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Ilka, yeah, I don't want them touching another Pokemon game. Because, or maybe, I don't know if it was like Nintendo or the Pokemon company that had mandates. But like, they should have just done Platinum at that point. Or, if, just do it an Oris way. Do it the way you did Oris at that point, because Oris was that much better. The thing with Nintendo is, right, right, hang on, I gotta swap the music, because if there's lyrics out there, it's gonna get me copyrighted. Sure, we'll put on some lo-fi, why not? Why not? The thing is, Nintendo is a Japanese-based company. They've shown the Wii U that they know how to recoup profits from mistakes and investors, but Nintendo has become the Disney of video games, which is not a compliment. Yeah. Awesome. Won't take long to reach Cyberpunk Shadowrun conditions. The thing is, like when I complain about this type of stuff, I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I really love Cyberpunk, but I've always tried to say that if a game improves, I'll be willing to give it another chance, and I love Cyberpunk. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I would even go as far as saying top 10. I'm not kidding. Like, I really love Cyberpunk. I'll say make them do Platinum as well and don't touch anything else. Oh, I don't want them to touch Gen 4 again for a while. At least complete the trilogy. Oh, I don't want them to touch. I don't want them to touch Gen 4 at this point. I mean, how it is in setting. Oh, right, yeah, I know what you mean. The thing is, CD Projekt Red never did anything of the gamer's dirty. Cyberpunk released in a bad state because the developers are too ambitious. Yeah, they had to remove a lot of stuff. Like with the, so for example, the Mantis Blades, where you could like hang onto walls and then jump at like enemies and stuff like that. Like a lot of that stuff in that base alpha they showed was taken out, which is unfortunate. But it's also like one of those things where yeah, they were overly ambitious. It was like the first major misstep they had made as a company, because The Witcher 3 had glitches as well. And I don't think they were all that game-breaking. It's just like Geralt's hair, like, maybe, like, getting left. Like, there were, like, more funny ones and stuff like that as well. And also, Witcher 3 is probably up there as, like, one of my favorite games as well. I still need to finish the DLCs. I still do need to finish the DLCs. But other than that, like, The Witcher 3 was great. And you know, the hilarious part is if they actually had experience in programming an RPG shooter, it wouldn't have happened, yeah. Look at Witcher 1 and 2, they weren't that good, but they led to the masterpiece that is 3. Yeah, and even then, a lot of people really liked 2. I've never played it, but I know a lot of people really liked it. Well, they got rushed to the finish line. That's why the prologue is amazing, while the wider world felt lackluster. Yeah, even then, I wish we had more time in that prologue. We'll, like, actually spend time with Jackie and Misty and all that before shit goes wrong. Because the world only truly opens up in Act 2. But even then, once again, I've praised that game up and down. It's so good. But yeah, like, that's kind of why, like, I feel like sometimes I do feel like a bit of a hypocrite when I'm like, I glaze Cyberpunk. But then again, I didn't glaze Cyberpunk when it first came out. I shit on it, like everyone else did, and rightly so. Like I do for Scarlet and Violet. Because like I said, if Scarlet and Violet releases this upgrade for the Switch 2, and they only give it the visual and frame rate changes and don't touch any of the bugs that still plague it to this day, I will not touch off that game. That is where I draw the line. Like, that Cup Chew glitch is fucking awful, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone that was trying to complete the Pokédex. You're not a hypocrite for praising someone who admits they fucked up. Yeah, I didn't shit on Cyberpunk. In fact, I told everyone to shut the fuck up. Don't shit on the game before you know the circumstances. Yeah, I wouldn't say I shit on it. I'm just kind of getting passionate. Again, like I tend to do. Yeah, and they did put in a lot of work to fix it. 2.0 was phenomenal. Phantom Pain was phenomenal. Like, oh my god. Oh, like, and then, like, it was definitely helped by the anime coming out as well. So, like, they had every condition possible to make this work, and they did. They were able to redeem Cyberpunk, which is awesome, because Cyberpunk is a phenomenal game. Of course, they didn't finish up the open storylines. I might need reminders. I might need reminders for that. I'm trying to think of open storylines that happened. CD Projekt Red, in its entire game company, made 3 effing games, which are 1, 2, and 3. Oh, Witcher's 1, 2, and 3 in Cyberpunk would have been clusterfuck, but they went plenty of opportunity for a sequel. Now they know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk 2. And also the fact that we are told it's not going to be in Night City makes me very interested in what they cook up, because Night City is I think Night City was the tabletop location. So I'm very interested to see where they go now that we're leaving Night City. And I doubt we're going to be playing as V again. With every ending of that game, including the DLC ones, we're not playing as V again. So I'm interested to see where we go. I would have called it Cyberpunk 2080. Well, we don't know what the actual title is. It could be like it could be like something else. You got a few storylines where you just give up on helping even when you discover that there's more. Oh, right. More behind it. Oh, okay. I might need to replay it again and, like, go through it. It's been a little bit. It's been, like, at least... I've played it twice. I've played it and finished it twice. So... I might need to play it again at some point. I'd play it on my PC, but my PC will not be able to handle it with, streaming. I know it won't. It's still such a very intensive game, especially on, like, when I'm playing 1440p. Personally, I've never sat on Cyberpunk or Skyrim. The Skyrim pisses me off, and I do like shit on it, but I never had any malice behind it. Yeah, anytime I say I like shit on a game, it's never actually out of, like, wanting the game to be crap and stuff like that, because these games, like I said, like, I don't know if I said the story about how I played Cyberpunk on PS4 when it first came out. I pre-ordered that game, and when it came out, I sat down, booted up my PS4, and I played. It crashed in about maybe... I don't know how long. I think I think it was like a day off, and I played it basically from morning to evening. So, in, like, say a 10-ish hours play session, the game crashed 7 times on me. Very consistently, but because I was enjoying the game that much, I kept powering through regardless. Yes, the crashes were frustrating as fuck, and I was getting annoyed with it, but because I was having so much fun with it, I was still willing to push through. However, I didn't pick it up after that day, because the crashes were just that insane. I still have the PS4 version. I've not upgraded because I haven't been playing my PS5. But it's there. It's just sitting there. When Oblivion remastered, people immediately made memes of it. I will not buy Skyrim for the 6th time. Well, now you can buy Oblivion for the 2nd time. Yeah, exactly. I feel like Bethesda's a very interesting case, though, when it comes to, like, their games specifically. Because Starfield was like a polished game from what I seen, but it made the cardinal sin of just being a boring game, which, yeah, like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's better to be buggy and interesting than boring and like polished, if that makes sense. I wouldn't even say that's a saying or anything I agree with, but it's just one of those things that's like, huh, wow, yeah, the bugs kind of add a bit of that spice to it. That's weird or interesting. I remember how long it took for me to finish my build when I got back into it. Half my cyberware was gone and it was more reliant on it to the top. Yeah, exactly. Like, they changed it for 2.0. They changed it so that way armor is now is now affected by your cyberware, which I actually do like that, because then you can just dress your character up now the way you want to without having to worry about like looking like a complete idiot. Hilariously, people who play the game and beat it will tell you it got interesting after you beat it, which is hilarious to think that Bethesda made an entire game of enjoyment after you play it through it once. Yeah, because they have like the way they did New Game Plus and stuff like that, but like that's also like, at that point, because you're not going to have people that do those no game pluses. You're going to have people that are going to play the game, finish it, move on with their lives, or uninstall it, or whatever, like, or trade it in. So a lot of people aren't going to get to that new game plus stuff. They should have at least refunded the cyberware so we can buy replacements. Yeah, I can't remember what happened when I got the when I got the update on PC eventually. It was just, it feels like a decade ago. It's nuts. But it feels like, besides that, I was way too trusting of their fans. Time, besides, really should have count their blessings more often because there's billions of us. Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things, like, we've seen time and time again of like AAA developers taking people and like their consumers and their player base for granted. And it's just frustrating when they know they can get away with it. And that's why I clown on Scarlet and Violet so hard, because there's genuinely no excuse for a game to be as buggy and glitchy as it. Because you are the most profitable franchise in the world. You would be nowhere without the games. And Gen 1 was buggy, but because it came out in like 90 something, it's a little bit more forgivable. And then they eventually did polish as they went along, and now it feels like we're back to square one to some extent. Not entirely, obviously. Scarlet and Violet is way more technically advanced in comparison to Gen 1. It's a very unfair comparison when you compare both of those gens together. It's just frustrating when you want to support a franchise you've been following for years, like I have been with Pokemon, and then they release a product that feels like a slap in the face to the player base and to people that like genuinely want a good product from Game Freak and Pokemon, only to just be like, and then they didn't even bother to fix it. What stung even more was that they released DLCs before fixing any glitches, and they didn't fix most of the glitches. They had the same time frame in releasing DLCs that Cyberpunk had fixing their base game, and Game Freak and Pokemon did nothing with it. That is why I feel it's fair to kind of compare the two, in the sense of what each respective company did with their franchise and how much each company genuinely cares about growing their games. Cyberpunk did the unthinkable because a lot of people wrote off Cyberpunk straight away. And then, like I said, they also had circumstances where the anime came out. Then they were fixing all the bugs and glitches. Then Phantom Liberty released. So they had, and then they had the 2.0 update alongside that. And it was like, they caught lightning twice. They caught lightning in a bottle twice. Somehow. And now look at CDPR. They're releasing a sequel. They're working on a sequel along with Witcher 4. The only reason, and it's like, I don't know. That's what I feel like. That's why it's fair to compare the two. In the way they released their respective games, how they dealt with the feedback and glitching, and then the final product after like 2-ish years later. One did not touch their game and released DLCs, and that was it. The other developer fixed their game to damn near perfection released a 2.0 update that is universally loved, and released a expansion story that was also just as universally loved. And CDPR is not as big as like Pokemon as a whole, because you can throw more people at Game Freak, you can throw more money at Game Freak, you can give them more time. But it feels like it comes down to a lack of care, in my opinion. Now, granted, like I said, I'm not a game dev. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes between either of these companies. It's just what I see from the surface, and that's all I can judge it on. So that is why I severely shit on Scarlet and Violet, and severely praise CDPR and Cyberpunk 2077 for their respective games. And I think that is fair of a judgment to make. Their portfolio is so wide that it's almost impossible for them to even fail. Oh crap, I lost it. Even fail, even while being stale, yeah. I will say this one last thing. Never been a fan of the franchise, even been a fan of the game will do. Pokemon's a cash cow. If the developers could justify it, they would stop making the games altogether and just sell merch. All of Nintendo's franchises besides Legend of Zelda is March's first later, with the arguable exception is Mario. Yeah, we all know. I think it has become more of a common thing now that like Pokemon makes most of their profit via merchandise and the anime and all these other stuff. But they need to go back to their roots. They really, really do. They would be nowhere without the video game. So they need to stop treating the video games like just like an afterthought. That's why I don't like Scarlet and Violet. And I would give it the exact same grace I gave Cyberpunk if they fixed the bugs and improved the performance. I am willing to give it that second chance. I have always been willing to give that second chance to games if they actively went out of their way and showed care and fixed the issues people were having with it. But they didn't. Until now, and even then I don't know if it's more than just a facelift. You know what I mean? So I will look into Scarlet and Violet with skepticism. Very reasonable skepticism. I'm not here to shit on games. I fucking love video games. I wouldn't be streaming video games if I didn't love them. I wouldn't have streamed Pokemon if I didn't love the franchise. But healthy skepticism is okay. And I think every consumer shouldn't blindly devote their time and effort to a franchise if it's not going to give them a good product. That's just how I see it. Most of the profitable series based on merchandise except GTA, which has no literal merchandise. That's a bit much considering if we do consider indies, and even then, like, not every game has merchandise. Here's some advice I will give you. You need to take this to heart and not be a fan of a franchise when a fan of one project of that franchise. No matter what the thing is, like, something will always be like, the franchise will not. Most franchises, I love their creator. Most of the time when they do, they get worse. A fair weather fan is better than a religious devoted zealot of one. Will not admit there are better things out there other than be able to find a new ship to sail on. But I'm not that devoted to Pokemon. I have an attachment to it. But I feel like a zealot fan, as you put it, would blindly defend Scarlet and Violet. But after everything I had seen, I didn't touch the game. And even then, I'll take Mass Effect as an example. Mass Effect and Dragon Age. We saw the way Dragon Age came out. Dragon Age the Veilguard came out to an absolute flop of a release. While the gameplay and visuals were sound, the writing and the story were boring. Extremely, extremely boring. Don't ever make an attachment to a franchise I learned as a kid. I disagree. You like that franchise, but don't buy everything just because it's part of a franchise. Yeah, exactly. But I'll reach out in a sec, but let me continue what I'm getting on with this Dragon Age comparison. Dragon Age came out, and my friend, who is a die-hard Dragon Age fan, has played all of the Dragon Age games, played through and finished Dragon Age the Veilguard. She has no desire to go back to that series, and we're probably not going to get another game. Me, going to another another BioWare RPG, Mass Effect. I've talked about on stream many occasions how much I really like Mass Effect, and how I was able to tolerate Andromeda because while yes, it was buggy, it was an okay game. It had not hit Dragon... I will say, Mass Effect Andromeda was not nearly as bad as Veilguard in my opinion, because I could at least finish Andromeda. I couldn't finish Veilguard. Because there are moments in Andromeda where you can... like, you can kind of pick out and it's like, oh, okay, that's like a bit of a funny moment type of deal. It's not as good as the trilogy, but it's not as bad as Veilguard. I will always say, if we get a Veilguard level threat for Mass Effect, I won't drop the franchise entirely. Will I immediately buy the next game in the series? No. But the 3 games that matter to me the most in the trilogy are Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. Those games are games I will never stop loving. Just like I will never stop, and just to go back to Pokemon, just like I will never stop loving Pokemon in a general sense. Yes, you could say it's nostalgic. Yes, you could say it's... I'm being a zealot fan. I don't see it that way at all. There's nothing wrong with loving a franchise and wanting it to succeed. And in that same vein, I'm a paying customer of that franchise. If you make a mistake or fuck up, I'm going to criticize it. That is my base right as someone who bought your game and played it. So, but now we will see how the next Mass Effect game turns out. I am skeptical. I will not buy it straight away. If it comes out in the same state as Veilguard, I will not be touching the game in terms of story. But I will happily go back and play the original trilogy. The Legendary Edition is there. I can continue to enjoy that. But I don't want to let any game in a series affect me how Dragon Age Veilguard affected my friend. Now, I'm saying that now. And we have no idea when the next Mass Effect game is coming out. If it turns out that, yes, I do not want to touch a Mass Effect game ever again, even the older ones, after the next one comes out, I will own that. I will own that entirely. Because I will give the same grace to any game unless it is proven to be absolutely abhorrent and unredeemable. And I have yet to see any game I've played aside from Veilguard where I just genuinely have no desire to go back and play it. If that makes sense to you guys. Like, I want to give every game its due, and I want to praise it when praise is warranted. But I'm also going to criticize it if criticism is warranted. All of my franchises that I love are not immune to criticism. I've been a Sonic fan all my life. We all know what those games are like. We all know what those early games were like. Or not the early games, but Sonic 06, Sonic Forces. People will shit on Unleashed. I think Unleashed is actually pretty good. And I can say that with confidence because I did go back and play it recently. So it's one of those things where like I'm gonna criticize every game I play, if criticism is warranted, and I'm gonna praise every game I play if praise is warranted. It's never as simple as a whole extreme of this game sucks and that's it. Now, there are exceptions to this game sucks and that's it. The Golem game, for example. That game is dog shit. No one likes that game at all. The Day Before. Remember that scam? That wasn't even a game. That was just a straight up fucking scam. So yeah, like, there's always exceptions to the rule. And I'm always gonna have my own opinions. Nothing's ever black and white. But I just wanted to get that across because I feel like I can still like a franchise and criticize it, and especially if I'm a fucking paying customer of that franchise. Like I said, we just came off playing Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Can you read chat now? Yeah, right. I'll read chat. But I did say I was read chat after I finished my rant. I did say that. Right. Let me catch up on chat so that way. As I was saying, Oblivion Remaster changed 2 lines in the whole game. Now there's 2 kinds of people throwing shit on each other just because Bethesda didn't want to anger its investors. However, F over its fans, which is basically a sign that shows that a lot of people are too busy throwing shit at each other to realize nothing about this will matter in 20 years. As I always say, current politics cannot last more than 10 years, and tomorrow's politics will be dumber than today's. Luckily, it didn't affect the in-game dialogue, but still weird. MIO. Yeah. I have to go back now and remember the context of these chats because I was just going off on a rant. The only certainties in life are life and death. We gotta stop arguing about the semantics. As a species, we need to be together. That's a bit deeper for what I was. It's not that deep. We need to fight together to fight extinction. Like, yeah, I agree, but it's not that deep. I'm talking about video games. Anyway, let's switch to a brighter topic. Yeah, no, I was still going on my topic. Please don't do that. I'll change the topic when it's warranted, and I wasn't gonna rant about it forever. I'll qualify the statement. Skyrim seems like an objectively bad game. Its story is laughable, and the gameplay shit. Its characters are hit or miss at the best, but Skyrim is legendary. The thing with people is who made the games we just loved aren't working on it anymore. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Like, BioWare is not the same BioWare it was when they made KOTOR or the early Mass Effects and early Dragon Ages. Skyrim was designed to be fun. Skyrim was doing that's meant to be fun. Foremost, it's no hype, but it's sure is a masterpiece and masterclass in drunken fist developing. And that's the thing. Like, I do like Skyrim. Sonic is a joke of its former self. What kind of joke and how good depends on how you ask. Shadow the Hedgehog is a character, that's all I need to say. There's a difference between any game developer and gold miners, you know what I mean. You had to reboot after I said that. Video games are deeper than life, so you're wrong. I heavily disagree in that statement. It's never that. Video games are never that deep. But, just a TLDR, I'm allowed to criticize a franchise I have paid money for. And I'm allowed to praise a game I have played for. This whole internet idea of you have to be one extreme or the other is so brain dead, it's stupid. It's no use. I'm very passionate about gaming specific communities and fandoms and shit, not the games themselves. I feel like it's important to still criticize the games if they do something wrong. Yeah, I don't mean like to the extreme of death threats and shit that I see on a constant basis. That's, like I said, one of the extremes I just heavily disagree with. For obvious reasons. But, like, yeah, you're allowed to, but I'm just gonna say you're stupid for yelling at developers who are either too broke to eat or sleep or are sitting on their pile of money to not even hear you. Yeah, maybe so, but I'm not, like, taking shots at... How do I explain this? I'm not taking shots at the developers themselves. I'll never go out of my way to say the developers were lazy. I can say that maybe there was a lack of care when developing it, but that's not directly at them because, like I said, there are many factors in that argument. It could be higher-ups, and most of the time, it is the higher-ups that are causing it. That's why in some of those instances where I was going off on my rant, I mentioned publishers specifically, because they're not the ones developing it, they're the ones footing the bill to make the game. Yeah, rarely developers themselves have much say. Yeah, I empathize with the developers. I've played Destiny, and how many layoffs have Bungie fucking had? And big bad CEO himself buying fucking cars and stuff like that. I never have that big of an issue with the developers at all. It is almost entirely always the higher ups that are the issue. So if I say the developers, excuse me, it's not like, there are times we have seen it, like Days Gone. Then again, what developers were on that game? Or Day Before, whatever. Not Days Gone, sorry. Day Before. Days Gone is a completely different game. My bad. That whole scam of a game. The developers are doing their jobs. And I'm not going to shit on them for the job they did. That they're getting paid to do. Because yes, a lot of the time, it's not the developer's fault. It's the higher-ups. So just to make that clear. Really, the developers themselves have much say. Yeah, it's like the early film industry where it's producers that get all of the renowned shit and the directors don't. Except in this case, both of the publishers and directors are all executives and not developers. Yeah. Also, it's not the higher ups that are the issue, it's the middle managers. The people who are told to be hired by some rich investor, land baron, and then cause the company to fail for more profits in their own pocket, and then when it fails, they've already moved companies. Most investors don't see the people as people, they see them as numbers that should get their bank account already. If you want to meet someone that even the devil could call a bastard, look at any investor. Yeah. It comes, yeah, it's like, man, like, we've seen it. We've seen this firsthand. We had junior developers that worked for Ubisoft that left, and they made their own company and produced Expedition 33, a Game of the Year contender. And I will say that with my whole chest. That game was so good. So that's like living proof of it's not the developer's fault, it's the higher ups. Because Expedition 33 is so good, the writing in that is so good, the characters are interesting, the world is insanely beautiful, the story is great. Like, bro, I'm talking about the middle managers, the developers who leave. I will always salute them, even if they're getting kicked on the way out. Yeah, I'll never. I might have gotten heated earlier, and here we were going to do tier lists, and I got so passionate. It's rarely ever the developers themselves, if ever at all, to be honest. It's the higher-ups and the ones making the decisions to make these games, or make these decisions about games that they're playing, or developing, or funding, whatever. And then it's always the guy at the very bottom. The developer working on the game, blood, sweat, and tears put into a game for years. And they get laid off. And that's bad. It's awful. It's awful. I was gonna say bad. Bad's not a strong enough word for it. The investors aren't higher up, though. They are literally third party that's sucking the money out of the company and forcing the company to make more and more for them to suck, so they can. Yeah. You know what I could do? You know what? I could do this for another hour. Yeah. Well, I do want to take a little bit break because I am getting very passionate. And I did say I wanted to do a tier list, so we can always come back to this topic. This topic will always be relevant as long as AAA publishers continue to do the shit they do in pushing out content that isn't finished or is broken on release, and then patching it later and then laying off the developers that were just doing their jobs in the first place. This topic will always be fresh for as long as that shit continues to happen. And it's gonna continue happening, unfortunately. Also, I want to learn how Bethesda makes their games so I too can learn Drunken Fist developing. Yeah, yeah. I will say though, aside from my issues with crashing with Oblivion, like, I know it was a Virtuous game. It was like, Virtuous was the name of the game studio. They did a good job remastering that. And even then, that felt like a full-on remake more than a remaster. So I can't even like shit on it. I was having fun with that game before I just kind of got tired of the crashing. It's an illusion called infinite growth. It does not work under any scrutiny and casting generations and requires population at least 40% idiots for it to cast effectively. Yeah, yeah. There is no such thing as infinite growth, and these AAA publishers are going to figure this out the hard way, unfortunately, because they won't stop. They refuse to stop. I'm still waiting for a bit so the VR implementation for it is better. Yeah. Oh, there's VR implementation for Oblivion? Or is it something else I just mentioned? Because that's actually pretty cool if they're implementing VR to Oblivion. That's awesome. But yeah, that's gonna be one of those topics that's always going to be relevant. Yeah, due to its engine, you can use VR injectors for it. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Oh, I mean, yeah, Unreal Engine 5, I suppose. Right. Right. That aside, for now, we can always come back to it. Today will probably be a shorter stream anyway, just in comparison, because we've been doing like 3 to 3.5 hour streams for Pokemon all month. So this week won't be as long. I don't think I don't think there's been much in terms of story or like gaming news that has come out. A lot of that's going to be coming out over the weekend, mainly because like Summer Games Fest starts this weekend. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I stick with my illusion magic called silent step, casting time, instant requirements. Delightful perk allows you to sneak up on people and stand waiting for them to notice. When they notice you, they get the startled sound or status effect. That's great. Currently not full body yet, but motion works. What I'm waiting most for is voice activation for spells working without setting up each spell one by one. That's cool. Of course, the status effect doesn't work if someone has the fear resist feat. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. Like Oblivion is fun. I just kind of got tired of the crashing. I've since uninstalled it, but not for lack of like it being a bad. It's not for it being a bad game, but it just for the crashing. Like my brain was like, right, let's move on to something else at that point. Kind of, funnily enough, kind of like what happened with Cyberpunk. I got tired of the crashing and just moved on to something else. And then I eventually came back to Cyberpunk, but I don't know about Oblivion. Either way, it's in my library. I have opportunities to come back to it. But this tier list won't be long, and I will take suggestions if you guys want me to do more tier lists. But this one right here, for the Halo games tier list. Now, obviously, I have put a lot in here because I have put a... Why is my phone going off? Oh, right, okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, there was a YouTube channel that got hacked that I was a viewer of. It was like a call to action to like... Basically, they got hacked by like crypto bros, which is unfortunate. And there was a call to action to report the live stream. So it's like, alright, sick. So I just got a notification back saying that it was deleted. It's like, alright, sick. Cool. Why is everything spell effect now? Apparently I cast Power Word Rant on you several times, casting 1 point duration until the stat effect wears off eventually. I cast that shit on myself though when I get passionate about it. I'm passionate about video games. They call themselves crypto bros, but crypto people are not bros. They're crypto assholes. Yeah, I think that's just the general term for them. Crypto slop. Right. We're gonna go. This tier list won't be long, and I will judge the Master Chief Collection as a whole at the very end. But we're gonna go through the games in order, chronological order. So Halo 1, or Reach 1, 2, 3 ODST. Actually, I think I went through 3 ODST first, actually, and then I did 3, and then I did 4. I've never seen a person. I've met a bro. I've never seen a bro or a person into crypto that's a bro. Bro's a dude. Dude is a dude to go to a bar. The whole bar is not full of nothing but frozen dudes. You know what I'm missing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying something. You're saying words. That's definitely the case. You're definitely saying words. Okay, right. Just to get us back on track, Halo. I enjoyed playing Halo a lot. Halo 5 and Infinite are not gonna be in the near future, if the future at all, unfortunately, because I can't get access to 5. And while Infinite's there, I am adamant in not skipping 5. So I want to do them in order. We've not played the Halo Wars games. We've not done any of these ones. Hell, I don't even recognize some of these. So that's why they are in the haven't played or finished tier list. Oh, hang on. I'm after getting a thing. Oh, sick. Okay, yeah. What I just mentioned about the dude getting his channel hacked, he got it back, so that's good to see. That's awesome. I'd love to see it. I spoke a little too bro for you. Let me put it in a way. A dude and a bro are basically friends that will stay by your side. They might be high as shit while they're by your side. Why would Halo Wars be in the tier list? Because they're just games they're just games that were there because it's every Halo game. It's literally all Halo game, literally all of them. But I've not played all of them. I've only played the main ones. I didn't even get the sound of Warhorn yet. It was good. It's good. It happened over the weekend, so it did. But so thankfully he got it back. Right. I'm going to be heavily biased on the first one. You don't have Halo for the DS. True. We gotta get Halo for the PS5 first. But first things first. I am incredibly biased when I put this here, but it is going into godly. Halo Reach is the Halo I've put the most time in, and even when we revisited it, it was still a whole lot of fun to play, and I liked every single moment of it. I don't know what else to say. I like Noble Team, I like the story, I like the character creator, I like all that stuff. I am heavily into Halo Reach. It is probably my favorite. I don't know if it's the only one going into the highest tier, but we'll see. I have to think on it. Combat Evolved is great. It hasn't aged as well, but that's because it's the first game in the series, even with the anniversary that we played. Also, I have terrible memories of doing that fucking 343 Guilty Spark mission. Fuck that mission. But other than that, the game was solid. It was great. I enjoyed it. God, why would you insult Reach so much? What would you suggest I call that tier then? Also, don't you have Destinies 1 and 2, which are basically Halo 1? Thank you. I mean, I've played a bit of 1, but I've not played enough of it, so I just put it in good. And I do like Halo 2, or Halo 2, so sorry. Destiny 1, I'd probably put into good, and then Destiny... I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Destiny 1, I'd put into good. And then Destiny 2, I'd probably put into great. Because while I like Halo, or Destiny 2, I have a lot of problems with it as well. You don't call that tier anything, you just say Reach here. Reach tier. The thing is though, the reason why this is just labeled as it is because I'm thinking of putting another game in there. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna call it Reach by itself because, spoiler alert, something else might be going in there. Right, so yeah, I kind of gave my thoughts on Halo 1. Like, I liked it a lot. It was the start of Halo. It's a good, solid game. It's worth going back to if you haven't played it. Or, it's worth going back to if you've played it before. Unreachable. That's a good tier. Yeah, the game has to be on par with Reach, so to get there, it's Reach tier. Yeah, alright, fine. I'll put in that. That's a good one, Mana. Unreach. Okay, yeah, that's good. Comparing Reach to a god is like comparing God to himself to an ant. That is sacrilegious to Reach. The thing is, though, right, then don't flame me if something goes in there, alright? Reach is probably going to be number 1, though. If we're going to be doing this in order, Reach is probably my top. Okay. I think Halo 2 was amazing. I think, even though it was a little bit weird, the guns were a bit weirdly light to control, the sounds were a bit weird to control, the missions was good, the introducing of a playable arbiter was great, we get more lore, which I'm always a fan of, because that's the whole point of me playing Halo, was so that way I actually have an idea on what the story is for these games. Like, we get more with the prophets, and their whole thing, and then we get more with the... like, just a lot. We get a lot of story, I think, in comparison. We get a lot of, like, backstory and lore in Halo 1 in relation to... Actually, no! I'm pretty sure that it's all, like, in 2 and 3. We get a lot of backstory in 2 and 3, which is, like, one of the biggest things that I vibe with when it comes to a game. I won't, because it's a Halo game going in there. I bet it's either Halo 3 or Halo 4. You should also read the books. It has just as many books as Warhammer, but also... I do hear the books are pretty good. I'm not a big reader, but since I started reading comic books, maybe I can use that as like a gateway to reading like bigger shit. Big boy shit, you know? But yeah, Halo 2 was fun, especially because it was enhanced by the anniversary, and we had like moments with Sergeant Johnson, and like... Hang on, I gotta look up that scene. I gotta look up that scene with his whole like... Sergeant Sergeant Johnson. Hoorah. This scene is so good.
Dear humanity, we regret.
Hang on. I gotta pause the music for a sec. This specific scene sticks out with me because I've been seeing it attached to Helldiver edits.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
Yeah, man, Sergeant Johnson is so fucking good. That scene sticks out with me all the time. It's so good. He has so many moments in that game. Oh my god. Yeah, no, like, honestly, Sergeant Johnson might carry Halo 2 for me. Him and Arbiter. Because Keith David as Arbiter is so good. Oh my god. Warhammer has way too many books. Yeah, you can try audiobooks. Yeah, that is true. If there's Halo audiobooks, I might listen into that then. Can you do a side by side? I need a weapon scene and a Halo 4 scene. You know the one I'm talking about. How does Halo have the most realistic depiction of Marines in fiction? Yeah, I don't even know if that's true. I can't say, but yeah. I don't know if I won't be able to get a direct comparison, but yeah. Let's go through here anyway. Yeah, Halo 2 is amazing. Halo 2 was really good. Halo 2 is really good. Halo 3 ODST, since that is the one we played first before 3. I would also say it's amazing. You have the ODS, you have the crew, which is interesting. Each of them have their own, like, each of them have, like, some kind of personality. I like the kind of mystery, the kind of, like, the mystery game vibe that kind of went with you as the rookie going around and trying to find your crew. The whole vibe of that game is so well done. It's so well done. I'm at the cutscene for I Need a Weapon 1 and the one where the obviously inexperienced commander is chewing out Master Chief. Oh, right. Yeah. So good. To be honest, I'm kind of impressed that Halo has never gotten flanderized. I mean, like, we don't talk about the show. We don't talk about the show. But yeah, like, Halo 3 ODST was a very good game. It was a much shorter experience. Then again, like, I think there was, like, only one game I took, like, 3 streams doing, and that was one. I think it was one. What show? It never happened. True, you're right. I'm talking out my butt. I'm talking out of my ass. What show? Man, it would be cool if we got one, though, wouldn't it? But yeah, that aside, yeah, Halo 3 ODST is very good. I like the vibes that they had for that entire game. It wasn't as like, it wasn't always like high octane, like chest pumping, like action. When you had like moments where you were going around finding clues for your, like, to find your crew and stuff like that, and then like getting flashbacks as to what happened with the rest of your crew and playing as them. Like, that's really good. It's really good. Right, we got 2 more games left. 3 and 4. I would have a meme of those 2 scenes where Sergeant Johnson is a smart man in the room and then a second cut in place. Like, then there's this idiot. Yeah. Alright. After finally playing, they could be equal to Reach for me. Yeah. After finally playing Halo 3, yeah, it's up there with Reach. Bungie cooked with Halo 3. Then again, they cooked throughout this entire franchise because they finished with Reach, but you could easily start with Reach and then go from there. And I felt it was seamless, despite the fact that, yeah, there were some things I had to, like, unlearn. Halo 3 had now there are moments in the story where I felt like it was a tiny bit contrived, and I'll explain that now in a sec. But overall, everything Halo 3 gave us was phenomenally good. Phenomenally good, if that is a word at this stage. Everything Halo 3 brought as like a basically kind of a finale to the series was so well done. Halo 5 story-wise was lacking because people were promised to fight between the new guy and Master Chief. Master Chief beat him in 5 seconds and it checks out. The story is basically a band of Spartans ordered to capture Master Chief, like they were hyped up in a fight, but then the fight was never going to happen. It's Master Chief. The only one who could beat Master Chief in a fight is the second Master Chief, and that doesn't exist. Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to... That's why I don't have it... I'm not judging it and Halo Infinite, is because I haven't played them. And I know the general consensus about 5 is that they weren't good. It wasn't good. And then 343 tried to take the multiplayer in like an esportsy type of route, which I kind of did with Infinite, but I think it works a bit I think with the multiplayer in Infinite is done very well. I've played it. I've played the multiplayer. I thought it was fun for the time I did play it. The only one you could make an effective argument about beating Master Chief is Arbiter, and you know damn well they'd be drinking buddies instead. Yeah, especially after 3. So good. But yeah, Halo 3 is up there with Reach for me. Actually, Halo 5 has full customization still for free. Oh, I mean, that's good, yeah. But in terms of, like, for Halo 5, I know a lot of... That's the thing, I can't properly judge it because I haven't played it. And that's why it's in the haven't played / finished list. It's just all I can go off the secondhand information. Like, what other people are saying. So, I'm throwing my hands up on that one. I'm not judging 5 until... if I get to play it. Which I can't see them doing that anytime soon with how Halo's kind of been... I wouldn't say in the gutter, but it's kind of just been left there. The only thing they added was random packs that can give you certain vehicle spawns, which if you're a Halo player, you know you're probably going to just steal the other guy's sniper or RPG anyway. Yeah, I think a lot of people had problems with the cards. But yeah. But to wrap up Halo 3, Halo 3 is up there for Reach for me. Now, Halo 4. Halo 4, I was debating on where I wanted to put it. I might get Black for it as well. Because, as I mentioned on several times over, I have played and finished Reach and 4 before stream. They were the only 2 Halo games I had finished before I played them on stream. The only time vehicles, if I had a problem with the cards because I didn't effing use vehicles, anything would get a point from Battlezone B. The only time vehicles matter is in the firefight. And even then, give me 2 guns and have me scream with them because that's what I want to do. Also, firefight is fun. It's just fun. Firefight is fun, yeah. I think I'm not gonna call it the worst one because I think that is unfair. I will preface by saying there was a tier between haven't played and finished and meh that was called garbage, and I deleted it. So if anything, from the ones I have played, there are no bad games out of the ones I've played. The reason I think Halo 4 is on the lowest end for me personally is because while I liked some character, like I liked how they did Chief and Cortana. I liked how they did... Well, yeah, that was it. Cortana and Chief as characters carried the story for me. The gameplay was fine. Like, I'm not gonna flack on the gameplay because the gameplay was good. But the overall story wasn't all that interesting. The only part that I really cared about was Cortana. And then we got the finale at the very end where Cortana basically, like, sacrificed herself because she thought, hey, I'm going rampant anyway, I might as well save John. I might as well save Master Chief, and, like... And then I know that follows into 5. 5 would probably influence 4 a little bit. Halo 5 is better gameplay and online functionality than Halo Infinite. You don't want to know why Halo Infinite is so popular. It's because the multiplayer is free. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, honestly. Fair about Infinite. You can just pick up and play Infinite. It's because it's well written because you're supposed to care about Cortana. But the thing is, though, I can't give that to just 4. In the 5th game, Cortana finds something she calls the Fountain of Youth for AI. Oh, right, yeah. The reason 4 is on... The reason I can't give the whole caring about Master Chief and Cortana thing to just 4 and points to it alone is because we've grown to care for these two characters throughout the entire franchise. We see, not going in chronological order, we see Cortana for the first time in Reach. And then we get to see Cortana and Master Chief first link up in the first game, and we go from there. So by the time we hit 4, we already care about these two characters. We already care about their dynamic. We already care and give a shit that Cortana might fucking die by the end of the game. But here's the problem. Everything else surrounding it is boring. The Forerunners are boring. The main villain is boring. You don't even get like a proper final boss at the very end. And that does matter. I know we don't get like a proper final boss in other characters, but it wasn't like one hit and they're dead. One click of a button and they died. Hell, Guilty Spark had a better boss fight. Because at least you had the element of Guilty Spark shoots Sergeant Johnson. And then you have to like, you're getting constantly pushed back. There's a dynamic there. Well, it's not a fight, quote unquote. You have like Sergeant Johnson that tosses you the Spartan laser, and then you do one final blow, and it's still like somewhat of a spectacle. That's basically why I theorized her turning evil was not her own doing, because we don't know what the Fountain of Youth quote unquote did to her when fixing her rampancy. Also, you're neglecting the fact that 4, after the end of the war with the Covenant, shows that UNSC has gotten lazy and stupid and has done way worse than it used to. I don't think that lends to the writing though. I think that takes away from it. Because, or maybe I'm heavily influenced by, like, because I'll bring up an example of that, of a similar situation in a different game, where, oh, they defeated a big bad, and now they've gotten, like, lazy or complacent. Also, the thing is, Halo's writing has never fallen off very hard, but it's the gameplay that's never fallen off harder than in Halo Infinite. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, when I deleted both those tiers, I don't think out of the ones that I've played, Halo 4 is a bad one. I don't think it's a bad Halo game, but in terms of like the story and the gameplay and like the other elements surrounding it, I think it just does feel a bit, I don't know how to describe it. Also, the thing about Halo's writing is never fallen off. Alright, I read that. It's actually just does how real the military work is notoriously stupid when it's not in wartime, but then when wartime's happen, they're the most functional military you'll ever find. Yeah, that's it. Right, now that I'm after being reminded of it, we have a similar thing, and now I could be biased by this point. We have a very similar thing going from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 1, you beat Sovereign, you prove the Reapers are real, but you beat Sovereign. And what does the Council and like every like military thing do? They send Shepard a Council Spectre on shakedown runs and planet scouting and routing and stuff like that. Baby shit. They are no longer prepping for the Reapers because they think they beat the Reapers. No, they didn't. And then lo and behold, Mass Effect 2 happens, and it's a whole thing. So like, I guess I'm like kind of biased in that regard of I've already kind of experienced, I don't even know, like, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I suppose the way I could explain it is I didn't feel like the whole UNSC quote-unquote laziness really lended itself to the story all that much. Like, yeah, the commander or captain dude was frustrating as fuck and Master Chief got a cool moment out of it. But the thing about that is, in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, like, Master Chief gets that cool moment. But in I know it's maybe I shouldn't compare one game to an entire trilogy, but it just in comparison to the story, I feel like the quote-unquote laziness of the Council and all of like the Council militaries and stuff like that in Mass Effect actually lended itself to to Shepard as a character. Whereas, because in Mass Effect 2, you can literally tell the Council to go shove it when they tried to reinstate you as a Spectre. Like, But also, yes, it's an RPG, so it is a bit unfair to make the comparison. I just hope I'm kind of getting the point across. I feel like the laziness of the UNSC, while it does make sense that, yeah, after the Covenant, or we're in peace times now, there's going to be some, like, laziness to some extent. The hilarious part is how a real government acts in its real realistic right, and it's because it's unsatisfying. Doesn't mean it's not how it works in real life. It's what both series were going for. It doesn't make sense to people that rationally, and literally in Mass Effect they said no one wants to believe that the Reapers can come back. Everyone wants to maintain the illusion that they're gone forever. Yeah, but that you know what's mad? That even goes as far as Mass Effect 3 as well. I really should I play Mass Effect on stream? I feel like I talk about it way too much to not play it at some point. In Halo it makes sense because the officer is not Sergeant Johnson. It's someone who's never been seen before and is antagonizing Master Chief. You're supposed to hate him for it. You're supposed to find it stupid. Yeah, I suppose that is true. I feel like 343 Studios had a uphill battle when they basically killed off all of the most endearing characters and but then they did nothing with Arbiter. But then Arbiter's not really part of the story in this regard, because the whole point of Arbiter's story is that he's basically reforming the Covenant and stuff like that. So yeah, I suppose they had a bit of an uphill battle when they didn't have any characters to pull from. Like, Bungie shot and killed everyone and then left. That's pretty much what happened in 3. Oh, and that goes back, I do have to talk about my grievance with 3 as well. The UNSC at the time of Halo 4 had gotten lazy because Master Chief had ended up in war in Halo 3 and the new war starting up in Halo 4. Yeah, he slept for who knows how long and then he woke up to another war. They thought it was something they could handle without him, and he was just a loose cannon. And I didn't think they killed off Sergeant Johnson. I thought he just faded into the background. No, he's dead. It would have been nice if he got a retirement or he came back, but no. Yeah, and just on that point then, I want to go back real quick to... I said I had a grievance with Halo 3. The grievance I had with Halo 3 specifically was that I felt like they killed off a lot of characters way too soon or way abruptly. I could forget... I think Sergeant Johnson's one was fine. But killing off Keyes in Halo 3 felt very contrived for the sake of just pushing the plot along. She didn't feel like she had a reason to die, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of felt like it was solely for the sake of the plot, because she hesitated for some reason. Well, no, I think she hesitated because Sergeant Johnson was like, oh, you might as well take us both out then, because they're going to want both of us. If one of us goes down, they're going to take the other. So I think that's why she hesitated, now that I'm thinking back on it properly. But I don't know. I don't know why, but it was just... When I think back to the stream and how I reacted, it's one of those things where it's like, wait, what? I kind of got the, wait, what? Kind of reaction to it. Oh no, it didn't feel like it fit. For how badass of a character she was, she kind of went out with a whimper. And maybe that was the whole point of the story in the first place. Is that, hey, shit happens, soldiers die, and our named characters are not immune to it. They were immune to it for a while. Hell, Sergeant Johnson is the most famous form of that because he was supposed to die in 1, and then he came back. And then he became a beloved character, so it's forgivable. Definitely forgivable. And nuked. What's nuts is that it nukes the... Hang on. What's mad is that it nukes Twitch chat, but it still shows up on, like, on my feed. The thing is, 343 could have made something in style like Keyes or Johnson. It's not what they decided to do, for better or for worse. They decided to show the worst military representation of your commander in Halo 4. He is practically brain dead and incredibly stubborn and egotistical. He is not a good soldier, much less a commander, and Master Chief knew that. And that is the first time he ever disobeyed direct orders. Yeah, defied direct orders. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, like, they, it's mainly the character moments that make 4 for me. See, I'm struggling now. See, I don't know, like, I feel like it deserves good, because I can't give 4 all of the credit for the character moments, because outside of, like, Cortana revealing her rampancy, Cortana, like, the moment with the commander, and Master Chief disobeying direct orders. Like, those are like the 3 major ones specifically that come to mind, but there's nothing else there. And even like whatever, I can't even remember the other character's name that actually helps Master Chief out. I can't remember his name. That's the problem. I remember the other characters. I remember Sergeant Johnson. I remember Captain Keyes, both the one who died in 1 and Miranda. Or I think it's Commander Keyes in... I think she's Commander, not Captain. But yeah, like, you see what I mean? Like, it shows that Master Chief is not just a break-dead soldier following orders, that he understands the orders he's given. He just understands the new commander ain't shit. But it also goes on to, like, who's the machine and who's the human between Cortana and Master Chief, which I do like that. You know what? I'll just put it there. I'll just put it there. I still think I like 1 a bit more. But yeah, like I said, there's not a bad Halo game I have played. And just to kind of wrap this up, this evens out. The Master Chief collection as a whole evens out because it's all of these games in the one. And I think it, like, taking this, and this, it evens out at amazing. Get this whole thing, if you can. Actually, the scene with the final boss at the beginning is a memorable one. Because he's the only character at Halo just to bitch Master Chief. The actual ending synopsis of the game is basically neither of them are the machine. Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those, I don't know. Either way, yeah, I moved it up to great. I still think I like 1 more. If we're going in order, if we're going in order, I think, like, if we're going in order, I think Amazing is definitely, like, a tie. Because I really like ODST and I really like 2. Reach is my favorite. 3 is my second. And then for, I suppose, the bottom 2 will be Combat Evolved and Halo 4. Especially if you realize the final boss is nothing but a war machine following a basic directive to destroy humanity. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I guess that's fair. I just think overall he kind of... I don't even think he shows up at the beginning. He shows up in, like, in the middle of the story. Because it took us 2 streams to beat 4. And he showed up right as we finished. And then we eventually, like, did the rest of the game in the second stream after. So, like, I don't know. Halo 4 is more theme-driven than character-driven. Yeah, I suppose. I'm gonna stick with my guns here. So, for the sake of anyone else that may be watching on the VOD or something, here's my list for the Halo games I have played. We've got Halo Reach at the top, Halo 3 second, 2 at 3, 3 at 4, or 3 ODST and 4, Combat Evolved at 5, and 4 at 6. And then Halo, Master Chief Collection isn't rated because it's basically just all these games in the one, so get this if you can. That's all I can really give. Don't worry, Halo 5 is much more character driven, than the only theme here is never leave a man behind. Yeah, I can't, like I said, I really need to see if there's a way I can get 5 and play 5. Because I don't want to skip it, and I don't want to just watch the cutscenes either, because I think that takes away some of the oomph of actually playing it yourself. Or it does take away some of the oomph of playing it yourself. Because I know that from playing the Kingdom Hearts games. Like, I didn't play Chain of Memories, but also Chain of Memories is not a good game. 358 over 2 days is not a game anymore. It was only cutscenes, so yeah. If you have an ability to get an Xbox One, then that would be the easiest way. But then I have to get a capture card, and I have to get all these other bits, and it's just... it's a lot of money to kind of just throw at one game. To be honest, it's a lot of money to throw at one game that I may or may not like, even if it is for I'll consider it. I'm not promising it. So take this as an epilogue, if anything, of my Halo adventure, unless something changes. No, because on Xbox you can stream it directly to Twitch. Yeah, but I don't have any of my layouts and stuff like that. I want to keep my layouts. Why else would I have the layouts? But yeah, that's my Hex Streamlabs on Twitch. If it is, then that's a little bit more... If it is, then yeah, that's a bit more tempting. But even then, buying an Xbox for one game, which is kind of funny when I'm considering buying a Switch 2 for one game. But yeah. Then again, a lot more games are actually coming out between now and when I decide to get one, because... Not to get entirely off topic, just to kind of give a TLDR, like we got Metroid Prime coming out between release and Pokemon. We got a lot of stuff that's coming out between now and Pokemon. So yeah. Right, so that's my list That's my list of the Halo games. My top 2 are Halo Reach and Halo 3. After finally playing and finishing up to 4, I can see why people love Halo 3 so much. And I had not even played the multiplayer of Halo 3 either. But I played a little bit of Halo 3 on multiplayer anyway, so I already kind of have a gist of that. So if you have Streamlabs, you can just copy it over to Xbox. And Xbox One at this point is €8, probably. Switch is like 700, which is a better purchase. I'm still probably thinking Switch too. For myself anyway. Either way, this is the tier list. Right. What else we got then? Honestly, we're kind of at a point now where, like, I don't think there's much else to really think about or talk about. I know there's a bunch of stuff. We got Summer Games Fest now coming out this weekend, but I'd stream it, but it's like 10 o'clock at night and I just can't stream it due to living circumstance. Just is not possible. And even then, the Xbox One you can buy for $80 and then you have it for any time. There's other media you can't play on PC. You know, like Metal Gear Rising that you can't stream on your PC. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna promise anything. I'm not gonna. If there's one thing I want to keep tempered from last year is over promising. So I'm happy enough where we left off with Halo 4. If we do get to 5, awesome. But my only comparison to someone else is that Bricky and Matarakan also were going through the Halo series, and they have played it far earlier than me, and they have not touched 5. They have not touched Halo 5 yet. So I have a sneaking suspicion they're gonna be they're in the same boat to me, and they're bigger creators. They have no excuse. So we'll see. Plus, there's other games that are 360 era that won't let you play on your PC happily run on an Xbox. Include Prototype 1, also known as the only good Prototype game. I actually found out Prototype 1 is actually on Steam, but it's just might be one of those things where I have to, like, if there's a mod for it for borderless window and stuff like that. Early 2000s, early 2010s games, you know, the usual. But yeah, let me have a quick scroll on Twitter to see if anything else that comes out about the Switch, because the Switch is coming out in 3 days. It's coming out Thursday? Yeah, it's coming out on Thursday. So I want to see if there's much stuff happening. Oh yeah, one of the Penny Parker, aka Snapscube, commenting on the Pokemon stuff that we talked about earlier. It's like, oh, it's finally... Oh, it was actually released on the Nintendo Today app. That's why... Alright, I wasn't sure because it wasn't Nintendo themselves that showed that footage earlier. So, okay, yeah. So, I'll wait and see for that. Oh, we're getting new games coming to the early days collection. Oh, no, that's online play. Never mind. I thought it was like we're getting new games entirely. Do they reach the heights of the original series of Halo games that showed you two-sided games? No, they never touched their legendary Halo. They invented online multiplayer. Halo 3 perfected it. And ODST reached perfection. There was no opportunity of making a worthy successor. Yeah, and even then, like, I know a lot of people wasn't a big fan of Reach after 3 and 3 ODST, but I still think it's like my favorite. People don't touch Halo 5. Though today are still in... I can't read it because of my background. The games are the only Halo games that anyone's made. Then would make them offended. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't read that properly, so... People want a fan of it because some people don't like change and they didn't like the fact that... Reach was Bungie's last... Oh, Reach was Bungie's last game. Yeah, I know what you mean then. I still love Reach. I'll never not love Reach. Right. I'm scrolling through the Twitter here just to see... Okay. Oh yeah, like people were talking about the Lilo and Stitch movie that came out. I'm not gonna get into it. I heard it's bad. I believe it's bad. I've not heard of a single good live-action Disney movie. Aside from Aladdin, I heard it was okay, but other than that, and even my bar for Aladdin is high because it's my favorite Disney movie. but they're still good. They never tried to be successors to the original. They wanted to do their own thing. They succeeded. No. Or did they succeed? No, they never could have. Yeah, it's hard to live up to the legacy that you built, what that Bungie has built over all that time. That's a lot of years to build something. Imagine having your previous co-worker develop the game Halo Reach, and then when they left, you were told to make a sequel. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it can, but I don't think we've seen a instance where... I mean, Baldur's Gate 3. I was gonna say, I haven't thought of a developer taking on another developer's IP and actually making it better. Granted, the gap between Baldur's Gate 2 and 3 is fucking massive. So, yeah, that might be an unfair comparison, but it is an example of it happening. Then again, yeah, I suppose the gap in time definitely makes that, because 343 didn't have as much time. They kind of made 3 like the following 2 years or so after ODST, I think, or Reach, excuse me. Best way you could do is do your own thing and use it as a cop-out. But back then, 343 was like, we're not going to try and touch the Bungie series. We're just going to make our own series on top of it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best thing they could have done, to be fair. Making the successor to the greatest game of all time is a fool's errand besides. And sometimes you just got to be a fool. It's a special thing. You can make something bigger and better. Try and make something new. I think they did make the right decision in not touching off the current lore and stuff. Like, imagine if, like, Halo 4, they brought back Sergeant Johnson and Keyes. Oh, that would not sit right with anyone. Because that's what 343 was trying to do with 4 and 5. They're trying to make a new Halo. Yeah, I agree with what they did. Hang on. Oh my god. Hang on, you know what I was mentioning, that Discord, or not Discord, the YouTubers like Twitter and YouTube that got hacked? Apparently their Discord got as well. So I'm, whoops. Unfortunately, they targeted everything. Jesus Christ, dude. These fucking dudes need to, like... These crypto fucks need to fuck off, dog. I say live on twitch.com.tv, excuse me. Ugh, gross. They called Halo Infinite story back to basics, but they changed so much about the story. All they did was change the armor design back to the original. Yeah, that is true. Personally, the guy that added to be a secondary character in Halo Infinite could have been in Halo 4 or 5 with no extra shit added. I don't think he was a bad character from what I've seen, but like I said, I've not played the story, so. But the reason people like Halo Infinite is because it's free multiplayer and they changed Master Chief designs back to the Bungie style. Yeah, that's fair. I think they went a bit too far in not wanting to touch off the Bungie stuff. Keeping the armor design the same is, like, would have been fine. I understand they wanted to do their own thing, but I think they might have taken a bit too far in, oh, we don't want to touch off the Bungie stuff. I feel like stuff like the armor design and the more cosmetic stuff is completely acceptable. And Arbiter, they have not used Arbiter at all. Unless he was in 5. But I don't think he's used Arbiter. I don't think they've used Arbiter once in the games I've played. Well, to be honest, I've only played one 343 Halo game, so yeah. Personally, I don't mind Halo Infinite. It's just they made their story mode open world and removed free customization for players. Yeah, I hate... Oh, bro. I hate the customization in Infinite so much. And I don't like that they made Halo Infinite's... Like... I don't like that they made Halo Infinite's... campaign... like... open world, because it just screams we're chasing the trend of open world games. I don't like it. I don't like it. The reason they changed messages over armor design is to set different tone. I didn't mind Master Chief's armor design. Showed respect to the original and well building on it. Yeah, that's fair. You could have even easily kept it the same though, because he didn't really change his armor between 3 and 4. He just kind of got new armor, so they easily could have just kept it the same and just cited, hey, we're just doing it for continuity's sake. No one would have minded. and then maybe upgraded it in like the middle of the story or something if you really wanted to upgrade his suit. Then again, I can understand why people might think that it's a bit iffy then. It's like, oh, you just upgraded the suit for Bungie's, and people get upset either way, so yeah. Halo 5 and 4 changed Master Chief's armor design in a way that felt respectful. If they didn't want to mess with him too much, but they wanted to make it different though. Yeah, that's fair. Literally the first thing you say is Halo 4 to Cortana is you've been busy. Yeah, you're right too. You're right. Makes sense. All right, never mind. Forget that statement then. But either way, like, they easily could have just kept the suit. Because you've been busy could have you've been busy feels like kind of a bit of a throwaway line. You could have just like not put into the game or replaced it with something else. So either way, that's really not a big deal, in my opinion. Hang on, let me just check this because stuff's happening, I think. Oh shit. Everyone's getting kicked from the Discord or everyone's leaving. I think, you know what? I think for my own safety, I'm gonna leave as well. Damn, that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna, just for safety's sake, I'm gonna get out of there. That sucks. Dude's Discord server got hacked. Fuck, dude. Fuck, that hurt. That sucks, dude. Which Discord? Oh, it's a YouTuber I follow called GamesCage. He had his YouTube hacked. He had his Twitter hacked, and now he just got his Discord fucking hacked. And I was in his server, so I just left because I saw people were either getting kicked or leaving voluntarily. So I'm just out of there to avoid anything. And then whenever the Discord gets sorted, I'll join back. Dude's been having a whole mess. I feel sorry for him, dude. I couldn't. He just got his Twitter and YouTube back as well. Oh, it's so depressing. Cortana and Master Chief have been stuck on that thing for a year. That's what AI do when they're bored. They just mess with a suit. I mean, that's fair, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not that big. That's not a big deal. I'm paying attention to this now because, man, I feel bad. Dude. He finally got, like, his stuff back only to immediately get got. Oh, it's depressing. Either way, yeah, I don't think there's much else I can really talk about. I'm kind of just... I said we'd come back to it, but, like... I don't really have much juice left in the tank for Scarlet and Violet ranting. I've done that on other streams. As I said, you didn't read his new suit wasn't an upgrade. It was probably just a repair job that slowly turned into a new project. Probably, yeah, because they did get basically stranded in space, and they did come off, like, he did come off getting blasted a couple of times by 343 Guilty Spark as well, so yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's much else. I will get more news and stuff over the weekend. And then on Friday we'll be reacting to Hellsinger Bridge. That's gonna be fun. I don't think so. Yeah, that sucks. They got that Discord down. That sucks, dude. I just left the Discord out of safety. I was not taking that chance. As I said, I remember Cortana said I had a lot of time where you were out. It was basically a conversation that then basically acknowledged the new suit, and it's a way that says, yeah, you were probably bored. Okay, right, yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been like over a month since I played Halo 4, so it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think there's much in terms of new news. The biggest one was definitely the Scarlet and Violet thing, and you know what's funny? That took up most of the stream, even though I was going to do tier lists. But I was going to do another tier list for like maybe like the Pokemon Gen 3 gyms, but it's fine. It's fine. I knew the streams this week are going to be shorter anyway, because just to wind down and wait for the news that's going to come out on over the weekend with Summer Games Fest. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, and then we'll lock in whenever stuff gets announced. Imagine being stuck on a spaceship for years, being able to do nothing but repair dudes. You'd start to become a tinkerer yourself. I suppose that's fair, yeah. Stranded with no signs of, like, any human life whatsoever. I suppose that is fair. But yeah. I'm just looking. I'm just scrolling through here, see what else there is. Rogue Trader on sale again. I'm debating getting. No, I've Game Pass. I don't even need it. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Okay. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna call it here. Actually, I feel like we covered. I feel like I ranted and covered a lot of stuff. Mainly ranting about Scarlet and Violet, which isn't anything new. We'll get a lot. It feels like a lot of. If I could speak, a lot of the stuff at the end is going to be at the end of the week. Because nothing in Halo 4 sticks out. If you analyze it, you can understand why it was chosen there. Yeah, that's fair. Also, if you've seen talk about the iconic Master Chief openly defies orders, that would be a suitable thing for a person who doesn't know Halo. Yeah, that is a big moment, and I kind of understood it when I first played 4 as well, without playing the other games. When I first played 4, I didn't understand that interaction either, but when I played or watched the whole series, I suddenly understand every subtlety. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone, but the subtleties in Halo 4 and 5 just acknowledged by outright praise in Bungie trilogy. Yeah, that's fair. All right, I think we're gonna call it there. That's fun. I like doing this. I probably could have came a little bit more prepared, but it was just one of those things where it's like, hey, let's just chill the fuck out. We're after going through, like, we went through an entire month of Pokemon. Let's just chill out for today and just talk and shoot the shit. And it's always fun to always kind of take those little breaks. And then we'll be back with another one then on Friday, though that one's gonna be kind of like a watch along more than a just chatting stream. So we're going to be watching Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, so that's going to be fun. Let's see how that goes. Halo 4 and 5 were made not with reverence for the original, but just sort of defeat is self-fulfilling prophecy. They would never be the original, which less be a defeated fulfilling prophecy and more just a prophecy. Yeah, that's fair. I would know. I'm a prophet. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, but with all that said, we're going to call it there. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. I know this was a shorter stream than usual. For all you VOD viewers, thank you for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed. But yeah, we're gonna call it there. So we've got Master Duel or Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel on Wednesday. I did do a little bit of ladder climbing just to get back to where I was before the reset. So we'll be going from there. I don't think there's a new event coming out either. So we'll just be doing some ranked, and I'll be playing with the new deck and stuff like that. Good old pipe to finish things off. But yeah, other than that, we got Master Duel tomorrow. Jesus. Master Duel on Wednesday. Master Duel on Wednesday. I'm waiting for the 4th. I'm waiting for it. Or is it the rule of threes? Okay. Okay, Master Duel on Wednesday, and then on Friday we'll be reacting to Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. So I hope you guys tune in for that. With all that said and done, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. This is your Cyber Hacker Nova signing off, and I will see you guys next time when we play some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Peace out.